Welcome back. We are still discussing whom should I marry? And that takes me to next question to our Reverend. He said there could be some symptoms of, unworthy marriage proposals. Mention some of them, please.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. There are some symptoms, and some of those symptoms are lying, begging, and also when someone is being forced in one another, and also love at first sight, lying, begging, untruthfulness, insincerity, and also weight. Let me just explain briefly. After I've mentioned lying is a symptom of unworthy marriage. Why? Because if someone is not truthful to you, definitely there will be a problem. Why? Because there will be lack of trust. So lying is very bad. And also when I'm talking about begging, yes, you don't marry a person because he or she begs you. Because especially we guys, especially men, when you beg a lady in the relationship, you actually beg her to play the conjugal role when it is necessary. So begging should be out of it. And also weight. Some people, because of weight of whom the person or what they see on the person, they want to go into marrying such person. And that shouldn't be so. That shouldn't be so. That is why I said you must not first of all consider the weight of such a person. And when someone is lying to you, some people made a mistake by saying that, this person disvirged me, I must marry such a person. It's an unworthy symptom. For the fact that he or she disvirging you, that does not mean that he or she is the right person for you. But when you try to go in because I was disvirged by such a person, definitely it's an unworthy relationship because for the fact that the virgin you must not mean that he or she the right person for you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me just add little to what he said. When he mentioned lying, you see, many guys live false life. They would just tell you their father is Dangote, their father is this, just to impress a girl. And maybe in that case, the girl just believe you. Or even tell the person you have a PhD, you have your master's degree. Whereas you just manage to speak English. I mean, you didn't even, maybe you just have only primary 6 certificate. It's vice versa, not only men. Ladies too want to form, I don't eat it, but I don't eat this. All those stuff, this lying is not good and it cannot be healthy for a marriage. So we must be who we are, must be ourselves. Let your spouse to be know who you are. I used to give myself an example, and I may not also be ashamed to say it, but that's the truth of the matter. There are certain things in you that you don't need to pretend about it. Just be who you are. I think that's the best one. Just be who you are. Don't tell lies. Don't pretend. Don't marry by infatuation, which is first sight. Don't marry because you mentioned now somebody by mistakenly. You could be an armed robber that disvirgin you. You will not go and look for that armed robber to come and marry you because disvirgin you. No. So it may not work. Like my husband mentioned to my children a few days ago, he said most times not your first love will be the one you marry. Most times. It's not the first girl you meet or the first boy you meet that must be your husband. Sometimes, prayer will lead you and all that. So, but we are saying don't make this mistake, because if you be able to get all these things right, like I mentioned in my introduction, then we reduce drastically this masquerade I call divorce everywhere. Marry today, separate tomorrow. Because we're not doing the due diligence, because we're not doing what we're expected to do before we rush into marriage. Please do not rush into it. Take time to do the necessary things we're just mentioning now, and then God will help you. Other things again could be laziness. These are also unworthy things that may come up. The girl is just so lazy. Honey, do it for me now. Now, so that's also how it's going to do. Now, even when you marry her, you won't like to get up from bed, honey. Oh, now baby now. Oh, baby, this and that. Another. Some also be also in the side of the young man. He would like to sleep and stretch. When the girl has been prepared to go to work, he's stretching. Don't worry, I'll go. So when you see all this, so these are already red sign. You start knowing can this one be a good partner for me and all that, so that you don't jump into. So he has already mentioned some attitude, attitude. lying tongue as mentioned, lack of trust, quarrel and nagging. You're not married a girl, or every time quarrel. How will it be when you now enter? Or you're not married a girl or young boy, any small thing, the young boy slap, bah, he beats you up. He says, I love him. You kill yourself before time. And so these are pointers already that it may not work well, It may not work well. You're already fighting before you're not even entered, just boyfriend and girlfriend. I learned that one boy killed the girlfriend again, and the girl knew that, suspected that kind of thing may happen, because the kind of boyfriend she now have. And eventually when she said, no, I won't continue with this relationship, she actually killed her. So can you imagine? So those are issues. We must be very careful of who we marry. All that glitters really are not good. The girl may be so beautiful, but that's not it. It's not only physical beauty that makes one a good wife. No. There are many other things you consider in the life of a girl and the life of a boy before you go into it. Thank you. Does ethnic inclination play a significant role in marriage? And why do marriage fail the test of time nowadays?
Ethnic inclination play a very good role in marriage. Let me say yes to that. And the reason why I say that is that if you are an Igbo person and you want to marry a Yoruba lady, you must be ready to eat ewedu and amala. That is it. Yeah. And if you want to marry from my place as a young man or as a young woman, you must be ready to prepare okoho soup and pounded yam. That is very good. So ethnic is very, very important. Why? Because what is acceptable in your place may not be acceptable in my own place. And if we people from different culture comes together to agree in marriage, definitely we must agree in a certain things. Yes, but what is acceptable in your own culture may not be acceptable in my own culture. So you must put that into consideration. If you are not ready to accept what is acceptable in my place, then there's no need of you going that. Example, in Benue State, now where I came from, in Benue State, if as a married woman, you must not have an extramarital affair. But because if you venture into extramarital affair, then what you call in our place, aleku, that is the ghost of the land. Definitely it will deal with you. But to some places, married women do anyhow. But in Benue State, married people, they don't behave anyhow. So if you must marry a different culture apart from your own culture, you must ready to accept what he or she believes. Because beliefs, and when you accept what both of you believe, then definitely you will work together and things will begin to move well. But when there is a disagreement in beliefs, disagreement in culture, that's when problem will come, because the man will say, we don't do that in my place. The man will say, don't do that in my place. Okay, as a woman, if they don't do that in your father's place, why can't you stay in your father's place? Why did you not come to this place and marry? So you must verify the culture, the religion, the norm of the people concerned before you go there permanently. And the last one,
say why do marriage fail? The test of time nowadays.
Yes.
The marriage fail test of time.
Marriage fail test of time nowadays. There are so many reasons, but let me just enumerate few of it. Number one, economic challenge of this present age. Economic challenge of the present age. Two, lack of understanding. Lack of understanding. Infidelity. And also involvement of third parties. Involvement of third party. Let me explain what I've just said now, starting from the economic challenge of this present age. Yes, things are not really
where it should be.
They're not really where it should be. The man you saw last 2 years that is receiving 1 million, 100 million that he's spending on you, he's not really having what he had been spending again. And as a lady, when they lack such understanding, or when you have already put the lady in a high level, for her to come down again is a very big problem. That's the reason why you must not place a lady in a very high level, because when you take her up, for her to come down again,
an issue.
It becomes an issue, because you want to be enjoying what you have been enjoying forever. Meanwhile,
things are no longer the same.
Things are no longer the same. So when the lady is not enjoying what you enjoy again, you begin to see outside the and begin to what? Compare you with some other people.
Yeah.
Another thing again, lack of understanding. You don't understand me, I don't understand you. When there's lack of understanding in a family, definitely that marriage will crash. And also I'm talking about involvement of third party. There are some people today, the involvement of third party, instead of involving your friends, your family, there's nothing bad in that, but not in everything that is going on in your family that you must take outside for people to discuss or to know what is going on in your family. That is a very big challenge. And also, when you're not praying together in the family, definitely devil maturely comes in. And also infidelity. The father will say, go and marry one that can give me child. The mother will say, go and marry one that can give me child. I need a grandchild. I need a grandchild. I need that. So it's a big challenge. And that is what makes us to have divorces or broken home today. Impatience, perseverance. Those are some of the things that make us to have a broken home today. And a broken home in the country today is what makes us to have what you're having today, bad people or uneducated people in the very generation.
Okay, we'll take a break. Now we'll come back and make my comment before we enter question and answer. Vivid view. See and